The court case just finished where the EPA actually lost, and in response to that, the EPA redefined how they were actually going to label pesticides. And as part of that lawsuit, they started off by relabeling herbicides. And via that strategy, instead of the old method where they had labels that they would create that had all of the information for using that pesticide in the label, they have assigned herbicide use to a new point system. So under this new point system, instead of just following the simple application procedures of labels like we used to, they're going to have to look at each of the pesticides and the type of crop that they're going to be applying that pesticide on. And for that herbicide, it's going to be assigned a specific number of points. To apply that herbicide on the field, the farmers are going to need to comply with whatever number of points that herbicide is assigned. To get those points, they're going to have to look at a chart that the EPA has provided, and a specific number of mitigation procedures is listed. For instance, using cover crops will get them a point, and doing contour farming will get them a couple of points. You add up all of the points that you have used these mitigation procedures to gain, and you need to get yourself to the minimum required for that herbicide. Some of the methods they use to give farmers points on the subject concern things such as field tile having to go to either a containment pond or a saturation zone. And so they're taking away the entire reason that farmers tile their fields in the first place. And the buffer zones that they're trying to require to apply these herbicides are so large that if you try to hire an aerial applicator to apply the pesticide, they're only going to apply it to about 60 acres of a 160-acre quarter section because the buffers are so huge on the sides. And farmers that use a ground rig with the best technology and low booms with large droplets, which is about as good as you can possibly get for preventing drift, are still going to be limited more than 10 acres on their own quarter section. And so I feel that it is just unfair to expect producers to comply with these type of regulations. A huge portion of Nebraskans are going to be affected by this. The ones who aren't within the pesticide use limitation area are the very, very northwestern corner and southwestern corners, but it's a very small area. And besides that, the EPA has yet to release a whole bunch of specific zones for species, individual species, and they're going to be putting out maps for those specific species on a new website they're developing. With the comment period open right now, Nebraska Farm Bureau is working on an official comment to represent producers, but the more voices there are on this issue, the better. So if producers would fill out a letter and submit it on the docket for official comment, then hopefully the EPA will take our voices into reason and create a final rule that's much more reasonable when it releases next May.